Hello and welcome to Real Person Reviews. I'm Sam and I'm a real person. And today I want to talk to you about WarioWare Inc. Mega Microgames. I think that's the full official title. This is a Game Boy Advance game. This is the one that's it's on Switch Online. If you have the Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pass membership, you get to play Game Boy Advance games. This is one of the first ones they put up there, and I was like, I'm gonna try that out because I played that game a ton on my Game Boy Advance. A game that was not on my radar, looks weird as shit. A game that I would not have played myself like in my fucking life, had unless somebody had like given it to me or it was like a random buy or something. I don't even know how I happened upon getting it. So this is kind of crazy to me. This thing even is here, but it's on here and I played it on here. Again, and I don't think I ever actually reviewed it. I think I reviewed the DS one, WarioWare Touched. I believe I reviewed that one. But this is like the first one in the series, so I'm gonna pretend like we don't know about this when we talk about this one too, I guess. So this is the first one, so I don't know, whatever. Fuck it, let's do it. So WarioWare Inc. Mega Micro Games is basically the plot is that Wario sees a thing on TV that's like, oh well, if like these video games are making tons of money, you make a video game, you can make a whole bunch of money. So he's like, oh shit, I'm gonna make a video game so I can make a whole bunch of money. And he invites a bunch of his friends to help him work on his video game so he can make a bunch of money. And so it's less work for him to make a bunch of money, right? And so a lot of the mini games are based around the different friends like going on their way to try and like help him and do things and whatever. And I guess they're micro games, not really mini games that you're playing. But most of these levels are the different characters represent each level you're playing. So basically you pick a character that you start up, and then it's basically a series of micro games, which are smaller than mini games. They're usually only a few seconds long. They start up, a word flashes on the screen, which indicates something about what you're supposed to do, and then you have to very quickly achieve the thing you're supposed to do before the time runs out. Sometimes it's about completing things, sometimes it's not failing a thing, whatever. There could be all kinds of different things, and you'll probably see some playing on the screen as this goes along. But it's it's all very weird and wacky, and as you're going through, basically you have to beat so many, you'll speed up. You beat so many, you'll speed up again, and then you'll be faced with a boss stage eventually, which is which is probably more akin to an actual mini game. Beat the boss stage, and then you'll be able to beat that character's level. You can move up to the next level and progress through the game. Beat all the characters' levels, you beat the game. You get lots of little goofy cutscenes and things in between there while you're doing that to serve as some idea, some semblance of a plot, I suppose. Eventually, you also, while you're doing this, I guess, you unlock other things as well when you're doing these. So, you unlock other mini games. Some of them are, just for two people to hold, one Game Boy Advance, two-player things like that. Some of them are single-player experiences, and they're just a marathon of, how good a score can you get. You can also replay any of the levels to try out the different, see how far you can get. After you've already beat it once, you can keep going, and every time you beat a boss stage, you'll get, a 1-up. Basically, you have 4 HP, we'll call it. So every time you mess up, one of those gets taken away. So if you mess up 4 times, that's it. But if you mess up, let's say, twice, and then you do a boss stage, and you complete the boss stage, you'll get one of those back. So now you have 3 strikes before you have to, before you're disqualified, right? Before you lose, you get a game over. Once all those are gone, you get a game over. You can also just replay those. Yeah, you get to high score. Getting certain amounts in some of these levels will actually unlock other mini games and types of things, like doing mini games that are all really fast, doing ones that are all the hardest variants of them, that kind of stuff. So they unlock a variety of things to do with the existing mini games. There's also a grid view you can go to where you can see if you want to. Basically, you can see all the mini games or micro games you've unlocked. So if you've played a level and you're like, oh, I'm having trouble with this micro game, you can go there. They're only practicable if you've played them at least once in the actual course of a level. So if there are some that aren't unlocked yet, you have to go and find it first. And you can kind of use that to hone in on which micro games you're still trying to unlock. And also, usually each of these sections are a bit different as well for each of the levels you pick. They're basically there's some where it's like some of them are like sports ones, some of them are like more puzzle oriented, some of them are just weird. Like they all kind of have a little bit of a flavor to them as well. Yeah, basically it's just a little bit there to extend your playtime, try and get high scores and unlock things, and yeah, but that's more or less what you have in the game. And I think this game is great. It's excellent. It's so weird, but like the weird music and the sound effects and voices and things, it's so bizarre with the cutscenes. It's the kind of weird that keeps you kind of engaged because you're like, this is so strange, but like I gotta see more of this because it's just so weird. I can't look away. And then also it's kind of like goofy and hilarious with a lot of things, and that helps you kind of keep playing. And basically that happens first, so it's still like fresh and weird and entertaining. And then once you've seen everything, that's when you start to really hone in on getting good at the micro games. Like, okay, like now I know when this word pops up, it's probably going to be this thing, right? I know, like you immediately can see from the settings. It does a really good job at this. Like immediately from seeing the settings, like the one word and like the screenshot, like the first like second of seeing it, you're like, okay, this first frame, like this is what I'm doing. This is the game. This is what I'm doing for this little thing, and like. So it gets like that, and it gets like faster and faster, and you go into like this ultimate focus mode, and it's crazy, and it gets so weird, but it's something that is just really satisfying once you have played it enough. You can actually go through, and it's like anything this game throws at you, you're like, yes, I know how to do it. And like some of these, you're like, I'm not as good at these, maybe I'm bad at those. Like, oh man, not these, but it creates such a dynamic, like, oh yeah, this one, I'm really good at this one, yes. Okay, I just gotta make it to the boss stage. I could have more of a buffer here. I could beat the boss stage, whatever. Like, there's so many little pieces that go into it. That ends up becoming a really, really addictive experience, and it's super, super fun. But it's also easy to pick up and play a little bit of it, shut off, and like stop playing. It's not something you have to play big chunks at a time, but you can if you're really enjoying it. You can compete for your own personal best. It's really interesting. Super, super fun. It feels like such a unique, interesting idea that, of course, they expounded upon doing more things with it later on as well with more games. But yeah, it's weirdly addictive. It's something that, like, basically, I think if you told someone about this game, they would be like, that sounds dumb and weird, and I don't want to play that. But as soon as they sit down and start playing some of it, it's gonna click. They're gonna like it, and they're gonna keep going. It's like if you like the game. I guess there's possibly people just won't like this game, and then that's fine. And for the people who aren't gonna like it, they were never gonna like it anyway. But hopefully you understand what I'm saying with that. Hopefully my words are okay, and I didn't talk so fast you couldn't understand any of them, which is very likely. For downsides to this game, I guess it's not a story game, right? Obviously, let's throw that out there right away. This isn't a game you play for the great plot, the great story unfolding before you. It's about playing little micro games, seeing how many of those you can do in a row, seeing how good you can train your brain to do that and everything, and it's about that. So you're not going to get much out of the story. Also, a lot of these micro games use different kinds of skills too, so it can be kind of hard because you don't necessarily have a linear, like, I'm getting better, aside from the fact that you have to memorize everything, right? It's not really about, like, getting really good at doing a certain technique. It's about, like, memorizing each one of these little micro games, so when you see a word pop up, you see the first frame, that's what you do. And, like, if you don't like that aspect of it, then I guess, again, that's going to kind of make the whole experience crumble because everything is built on that, like, single, like, skill that you're building, basically. And a lot of it's just memorization. A little bit of reflex here and there, but it's mostly memorization. Also, I think it's weird that they put in the two-player game. It's nice they put in two-player games, but it's weird because it's like if you're only using one system, it's just kind of awkward to both control one system thing to do that. That was a little silly. Honestly, this isn't going to be like a multiplayer game. It doesn't feel like it is. They did make a GameCube version that added in some like ideas of like things you could do to have more people playing it like a party game, but this is, it ain't Mario Party, so I don't know. This is weird they want to do that on a handheld that's mainly meant for one person. And I do feel like, maybe some of those things for those two-player game stuff, they could have maybe filled it with more unique micro games, more levels or something. They could have done maybe some more useful stuff instead of that multiplayer thing. it feels like they were just kind of doing that to say, hey, 2 people can play on this game, even if you only have one system. I don't know. Neat idea, just not something I ever wanted to do in practice, I guess, is all I'm really getting at with that one. So overall, I think WarioWare Inc. Mega Micro Games. I'm getting good at that. It's going to be a hell of a tongue twister. Ask me in 5 minutes, I won't even know what the fuck it's called. Uh, this is a really fun game. It's great. It's so weird. It's something that's like hard to recommend. Hopefully, seeing some of the gameplay, you're like, okay, it looks kind of neat. It looks wacky. It looks fun. It's basically the handheld solution to Mario Party, right? Mario Party is kind of fun, but without playing with other people, it's kind of whatever. So how do you make the idea of playing little games fun for just one person? You make them weird, and you make them Wario. You know, you go on here, and it's like, oh yeah, fucking, like, I'll just play a bunch of these and do a ton of them in a row, and like, I mean, I don't have to do any stupid, weird board game bullshit. Who's got coins and stars and whatever. Just play the games. You just want to do the games. Get right to the fucking little games. The games are even littler, and there's a lot more of them. And you just the big game is doing a bunch of the little games. It's a really fun, unique concept. I really, really like it. It's nuts. It's banana sandwiches. It's all that in a bag of chips. That's WarioWare. That's where it sounds weird, right? If you're like WarioWare, well, nobody says Wario, do they? They'll say Mario, but not Wario. What is this? WarioWare Inc. I don't think so. That's I don't know where that's still lodged in my brain. I can't get that out. They say it's a tumor. I think it's just that thought. I'm gonna blame Nintendo for my medical bill. But yeah, like, if you have the service, obviously it's just on there already, so you can just have it for free. You might as well just play it. But if you don't have that Nintendo Switch service, you know, the online with the expansion, it's a Game Boy Advance game. Like I said, there's a GameCube version that's tied to the TV that's kind of weird. They want to make it into like a party game thing, and I only remember vaguely about like it not being that great of a party version of it, but like you still get all the little games on it, so that's a way to play it. But yeah, it's a good, weird game if you don't have it already for your Game Boy Advance. I think it's a pretty cool thing in the collection, and I think it's, you know, it's probably my favorite Wario game that I played of any Wario games. Not that I played tons, but it's, I've played this one, and others too, and this one is the one I like the most out of them, so take that to your heart. Wow, I just realized that does sound weird, doesn't it? Instead of saying take that to heart, saying take that to your heart sounds more like sounds like I'm, I don't know. It sounds bad. It sounds like I'm suggesting something violent. But I'm going to go now before I misspeak more things. I don't know. It's one where, again, single player Mario Party, this is going to beat the pants off of that. That's kind of the crowd I'd go for. But it's hard to say, really, because it's like, if you saw the footage and you thought this looked fun, check it out. If you thought it looked stupid, then I guess don't bother. And it's probably worth buying for, I don't know, 10, 15 bucks. Maybe 20 if you really think it's good. Yeah, that is WarioWare Inc. Mega Micro Games. I think that's all I got. Alright, I'll stop. What a weird angle. Hope these videos turn out.